Today we're going to talk about the safest countries in Latin America from worst to first.
We live in one of these unsafe countries and we've been to others. And to be honest, we don't feel any less safe here than we did when we lived in downtown Denver.
When news reports come out, they make it sound like the entire country is on fire, and that is just not the case at all. And it just drives us crazy.
Yeah, not every place in every country is dangerous. Some areas and some cities are more safe or more dangerous than others.
But we get a lot of questions about safety, so we're going to talk about the most popular countries for foreign residents in Latin America and how safe they really are from worst to first.
Before we dive in though, hit that subscribe button if you want to take back control of your life by earning Wi-Fi income or living abroad, because that's what we discuss in our videos.
And now for the safest countries in Latin America based on the 2023 Global Peace Index, which was just released a few days ago, plus the U.S. State Department travel advisories.
Number 18 is Venezuela, the least safe country in Latin America, with a global rank of 140 and a level 4 travel advisory, which means do not travel.
Venezuela isn't a very popular place to move right now, so that means we're going to start with number 17 on our list, Colombia, which is actually tied with Venezuela at 140 on the Global Peace Index.
The U.S. State Department currently has a level 3 advisory for Colombia, which means reconsider travel, mainly due to increased crime and kidnappings, protests, and anger directed toward digital nomads.
Safety has improved a lot since the 80s, but Colombia is still the largest producer of cocaine, so drug trafficking is still a problem.
Common crimes include motor robberies, muggings, purse snatching, and pickpocketing.
You want to avoid the areas bordering Venezuela and Ecuador. That's where a lot of the drug trafficking occurs.
We went to Medellin in January. We had a great time while we were there. We felt mostly safe, although the motorcycle swarms were a bit nerve-wracking, especially after we got moto robbed when we were in Mexico last year.
That's a good segue for the next country on our list of worst to first. Number 16, Mexico, which ranks 136 on the Global Peace Index.
The U.S. State Department issues travel advisories by state in Mexico because safety varies a lot by region.
Petty crime like pickpocketing and bag snatching is common in those tourist areas.
Most serious issues like drug-related violence and gang activity are prevalent in certain areas, but many parts of the country, especially tourist destinations, are considered safe.
The bottom line is you need to take normal precautions. Don't do what we did in Guadalajara when we got motor robbed because we were not paying any attention and we were just wandering around with our gimbal, and don't do what we did.
Yeah, we let our guard down and we got moto robbed. A guy tried to push me over, elbowed me or pushed me in the shoulder and grabbed our gimbal and the phone camera out of our hands and drove off, but he only got half of it. It broke in half. We'll put a link in the description below to that moto robbery video if you want to get the full story.
We felt safe in Mexico City. We stayed in the neighborhood of Polanco and visited La Condesa, Roma Sur, and Roma Norte, and those are really nice areas.
We also felt safe in Playa del Carmen. We were shocked by how much security is there.
Another really safe area is Merida, and we plan on visiting that very soon, so stay tuned.
Number 15 is Belize. It's not actually listed on the World Population Review ranking, but the murder rate is about the same as Mexico, so it's probably similar in terms of safety.
It currently has a level 2 travel advisory, which means exercise increased caution.
Crime has increased, including violent crime, although most of that is gang related.
You want to avoid the south side of Belize City. Places like Corozal and San Pedro are considered safe.
Number 14 is Brazil, and it ranks 132 on the Global Peace Index with a level 2 travel advisory.
Theft, including theft on buses, robberies, gang violence, and murders are common in Brazil, especially in Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo.
It is the only country in the world with more total gun deaths per year than the United States.
You want to avoid the favelas. Those are the informal housing developments, and be extra careful in those red light districts because they are known to spike your drinks, and actually that happens a lot. So really be careful when you're going out at night. Do not leave your drinks unattended and do not get drunk.
Don't go to any of the border towns or international borders either, at least according to the U.S. State Department. They're at a level 4, as are the favelas.
Florianopolis and Belo Horizonte are both considered really safe areas, and they're popular with tourists.
For reference, the United States ranks 131 on the Global Peace Index, but foreign conflicts and military expenditures are partly to blame for the low rank, not just violence and safety concerns.
It is not part of Latin America, but the U.S. does have the 5th largest Spanish-speaking population in the world behind Mexico, Colombia, Spain, and Argentina.
Number 13 is Nicaragua, and it ranks 123 on the Global Peace Index with a level 3 travel advisory.
That is mostly due to limited healthcare availability and arbitrary enforcement of laws, according to the U.S. State Department.
Exercise increased caution in Nicaragua due to crime and wrongful detentions. Do not speak out against the government.
Grenada and Leon are considered to be safe places for you to visit.
We often hear from expats who live in Nicaragua, and they love it. They love the low cost of living, the natural beauty, and the laid-back lifestyle.
This is another example of how you cannot judge an entire country based on its rating or reports that come out saying the whole country is dangerous. A lot of you out there tell us you feel very safe and happy living in Nicaragua.
Number 12 is El Salvador, and it ranks 122 on the Peace Index with a level 3 travel advisory. Just a few years ago, El Salvador was the most dangerous country in the world. Now it is quickly becoming one of the safest, but that has come at a cost.
If you have visible tattoos or you look like you could be in a gang, then you can get arrested without cause and thrown in prison with no recourse.
The U.S. State Department still has it ranked a level 3, reconsider travel, mostly because authorities have the power to arrest anyone suspected of gang activity, and there is no longer a right to a speedy trial.
And prison conditions are harsh. Several U.S. and other foreign citizens have been arbitrarily arrested.
Freedom of speech is also questionable, so be careful what you say about the government.
9 out of 10 El Salvadorians approve of the new measures taken by the president to decrease the crime, but they're only 1 year into these changes, so we will see how things progress.
Yeah, we're not exactly sure how it's going to turn out. It's way too soon to tell, but hoping for the best, and maybe Ecuador can learn some lessons from them. Number 11 is Honduras, and it ranks 120 on the Peace Index with a level 3 travel advisory.
Violent crimes such as homicide, armed robbery, and kidnapping is common. Violent gang activity is widespread, such as extortion, rape, drug, and human trafficking.
I've actually been to Roatan Island 2 times. I really enjoyed it. It's a beautiful place, and I felt really pretty safe there. However, the mainland is a bit of a different story.
Number 10 is Guatemala, which ranks 103 on the list with a level 3 travel advisory.
Violent crimes such as extortion, murder, armed robbery, carjacking, drug trafficking, and gang violence are common in Guatemala, and several parts of the country should be completely avoided.
This country is not as popular for expats, so we are not going to spend a lot more time on this. We are going to move on to number 9 is Peru, and it is tied with Guatemala at 103, but it does have a level 2 travel advisory, so we gave it a higher rank on our list.
Street crime, including muggings and theft, is a problem in Peru, especially in areas that are popular with tourists.
There also have been reports of credit card fraud, express kidnappings, and carjackings.
Political unrest has been an issue for the past year. Protests shut down parts of the country, including Cusco and Machu Picchu, and several tourists were stranded there for days. They didn't even have their medication. They just went there on a day trip and couldn't get out.
Fortunately, that does not happen very often, and that should not keep you from visiting Peru. It is an amazing country and high on our list of places to visit. We really want to go to Cusco, and the neighborhood of Miraflores in Lima are both supposed to be very, very safe and have a lot to offer.
Number 8 is Ecuador, and it dropped from 79 to 97 on the Global Peace Index, mostly due to the increase in crime since the pandemic and political turmoil. The U.S. State Department has a level 2 travel advisory for the country, but certain areas have a level 3 or even a level 4 do not travel advisory.
Esmeraldas and parts of Guayaquil are a level 4 do not travel. Parts of the coast, including the provinces of Manabí and Santa Elena, are currently at level 3.
Petty theft and pickpocketing are common throughout Ecuador, especially in the tourist areas and on public transportation.
There have been reports of more serious crimes, including robbery, assault, home invasions, and express kidnappings.
Most of the murders are drug and gang related, and also domestic femicides are a problem in Ecuador.
There has been more crime aimed at foreigners, but it's still safe for expats in most parts of the country.
We recommend Cuenca, Cotacachi, and Loja for the safest areas. Number 7 is Bolivia, and it ranks 78 on the Peace Index with a level 2 travel advisory.
The biggest issue in Bolivia is civil unrest and protests, and that does happen quite a bit.
It's also a challenge to get a long-term visa for Bolivia, so it's not really very easy to move there. Number 6 is Panama, ranking 68, and it has a level 2 travel advisory.
Petty crimes such as pickpocketing and theft is a problem in urban areas.
Most serious crimes like drug trafficking and gang violence occur, but are generally confined to certain low-income neighborhoods.
The U.S. State Department recommends avoiding parts of the Mosquito Gulf and the Darien area due to crime.
Panama City, Coronado, and Boquete are great choices if you want to be as safe as possible.
Number 5, Paraguay is next, and it's tied with Panama at 68, but it has a level 1 travel advisory, so we gave it the higher rank on our list.
Paraguay is a significant transit country for cocaine and other drugs heading to Europe and other parts of the world.
Common crimes include mugging, purse snatching, and pickpocketing.
Asuncion and Concepcion are safe and popular places to live.
Number 4, Chile ranks 58, and it has a level 2 travel advisory.
Crime rates are relatively low in Chile. The main crimes reported are theft and nonviolent robberies, especially in major cities like Santiago.
There have been occasional reports of express kidnappings where victims are temporarily kidnapped and then forced to withdraw funds from ATMs.
Santiago is very developed and diverse and has a lot of English speakers, which makes it easier for tourists and new residents.
Number 3, Argentina ranks number 54 and also has a level 1 travel advisory.
Street crimes such as pickpocketing, bag snatching, and theft from vehicles is common, particularly in Buenos Aires.
They do have street protests, mostly related to inflation and the currency devaluation right now.
There are a lot of places to explore in Argentina. Some of the most popular areas are Buenos Aires and Mendoza, wine country.
We've heard from several people that they are moving to Mendoza. They absolutely love it, and one of the reasons they're moving is because they feel very safe there. Number 2 is Uruguay, ranking 50 on the list and has a level 2 travel advisory.
Overall, Uruguay has a low crime rate. Petty crime like pickpocketing and purse snatching are common in Montevideo, and watch out for those motor robberies.
There have been occasional reports of car thefts and burglaries, but violent crime is actually pretty rare.
Montevideo has a large expat population and is considered safe. Punta del Este is a beach community that is safe and popular with tourists and foreign residents.
Number 1 is Costa Rica, which ranks 39 and has a level 2 travel advisory.
Petty theft, car break-ins, and purse snatching are common types of crime.
Drug trafficking has increased, resulting in an increase of violent crime, including homicides. They have seen an increase like Ecuador, but not to the same degree that poor Ecuador has had.
Places like Tamarindo and Puerto Viejo are safe, as are parts of San Jose.
You might notice that we didn't talk about any of the island nations in the Caribbean. That is because, in the interest of time, we decided to keep this video to the mainland.
We do talk about crime and safety a lot in our newsletter, so if you haven't signed up for that already, go and do that now because you'll get immediate access to our Move Abroad checklist and several other perks we think you'll enjoy.
Even though Colombia has the worst safety rating after Venezuela, we felt very safe when we visited Medellin, and we are planning to go back.
Yeah, and even though El Salvador is currently the safest country in Latin America, at least by murder rate, we really wouldn't feel very comfortable traveling there right now. I think we have way too many opinions that might get us into trouble.
If safety is the most important factor when you're considering a place to live, then Costa Rica and Panama should be at the top of your list. Another good option is Cuenca, Ecuador.
If you don't mind a 9-hour flight or more from Miami, then you might want to consider Uruguay, Argentina, or Chile.
Check out this video next if you're planning your exodus from the United States or Canada.
And let us know in the comments below if you've been to any of these countries and what you felt about the safety while you were there.
Before you go, leave us a like please, and we will see you all in our next video.
Ciao.
Ciao. Yes, we know that firsthand because we got our bus stolen right out of our pocket. Our bus stolen.